My name is Kenichi Haruta. I'm 14 years old and in middle school. This time I'd like to tell you about the story of when I stood up to my bully. The story begins when I was in an elementary school. Even then I was introverted and had few friends.
Kenichi, why don't you go out and play with your friends?
It's fine, I don't have that many friends anyway. At home and even at school, during lunch and recess, I would do nothing but read books. And I don't have many memories of going out to play with friends. I guess you might think that every day was dark and pitiful, but that wasn't the case. Luckily for me, my parents and siblings were kind and understanding, so I could feel at ease when I was at home. Well, it's a good thing to like books. If he likes to read, then it means that he won't have much difficulty studying either.
You're right. There is not much point being nosy about it.
Dad, I want to read this next. Go ahead, read as much as you want. My parents were accepting of how I spent my time, but because they were really easygoing, I did have a hard time at school, especially after getting into 5th grade. Hey, do something funny! I can't. This is Masayuki Tomozawa. We became classmates for the first time in the 5th grade. His body and his attitude were much bigger than mine, and he was a typical class bully. He was as strong as his body was big, so not even the teachers, let alone our classmates, could handle him. He set his eyes on me as soon as we became classmates, and he would often bother me, make fun of me, and say the impossible. The worst thing was when he would use wrestling moves on me as practice. He was just copying what he had seen on TV, but it was still pretty painful. Ow, it hurts! Stop it! You're so weak! Take that! On top of that, the teachers would think that we were just being boys and wouldn't stop him because they thought we were playing. I was trying desperately to show that I didn't like it by saying it hurts and stop it, but it seems that it wasn't bad enough to be considered bullying. Every day was horrible, and I didn't want to go to school anymore. But there was one person that offered me a helping hand. For example, if I was being picked on by Masayuki and his friends after school. All right, next let's try out the Cobra Twist. Please let's stop already. Just when my pleas had fallen on deaf ears, and I was about to be tortured again.
Stop that! He says he doesn't want to.
Ugh, it's Yokoyama!
If you don't let go of him, I'm calling a teacher.
Our classmate, Midori Yokoyama, came to save me. She was pretty stubborn and was disliked by the boys in our class. I was pretty scared of her myself. But she had a kind personality and couldn't overlook when someone was in trouble. She did more than anybody else ever did to help me from the bullies. Thank you again, Midori.
If you don't like it, then you have to say it more clearly, Kenichi.
Our houses were close, so we've been friends ever since we were little. She was one of the few friends I had, and I wouldn't be exaggerating if I said that she was my only friend.
I can't always be there to help you, you know. My dad told me that one day boys will have much stronger bodies than girls do. So you've got to get strong yourself, Kenichi.
Yeah. Time passed and we became middle school students. When I entered middle school, I made a decision. My family and I were celebrating my progress when I announced it to them. I want to take boxing lessons. My parents and siblings were all really surprised. I can't blame them. If a boy that was always reading books only wanted to start martial arts, I'd be surprised too. It's not like I was especially interested in boxing. However, there was a reason why the desire to become stronger had grown in me. Even though he was surprised, my dad clapped his hands and agreed. That's good too. You won't regret learning how to box.
Yeah, it'll be good to gain some strength.
They started preparing straight away and found a gym that accepted younger students.
Hey, I met your mom the other day. Is it true that you're going to start boxing?
It's true, we've already found a gym.
Why all of a sudden? You and boxing don't match at all.
There's no big reason. I just felt that I wasn't getting enough exercise.
Why do you sound like a middle-aged man? You just wanted to exercise. Why not choose soccer or basketball? Why boxing?
I have my own reasons.
Like what?
It doesn't matter. It's not a bad thing, is it?
Yeah, I know. I just thought it was strange.
There's no deeper meaning or anything. Don't worry. Midori was pretty suspicious and was worried about me. But I'd already made up my mind. They started preparing straight away and found a gym that accepted younger adults. I headed to the gym with my heart pounding. I was prepared for it to be really tough, and I thought that a weak, skinny boy like me would be laughed at. However, when I met the trainer, Mr. Tadayama, who would be teaching me, "I'm glad you have some interest in boxing. Let's take our time working on the basics." Mr. Tadayama had a really large build, but he was kind and cheerful. I was able to relax my tense body and enjoyed my first day more than I thought I would. And I was surprised by how much I liked boxing. I thought it was just violent, but you had to use your head, and it was a good stress relief. Moreover, the training I did every day didn't go to waste. I was still slim, but if I took off my clothes, it was clear that I had muscles. 6 months after starting, I was already taking part in amateur competitions. Even though I only managed to win my first match, I couldn't forget how satisfying it was to win. My parents were so happy they cried, and I realized how much they must have worried about me up until now. So much I felt bad. I even gained more confidence in my first ever win, especially considering that I'd always lost up until now. And then one day, Midori? On my way home from training, I caught sight of Midori. The person with her was Yasuyuki Tomozawa, who had advanced to the same middle school as us and in the same class as Midori. I didn't know that they were close enough to go out together. Hey, you're at the station today, right?
Yeah, I was. Oh, the gym you go to is close by, isn't it?
I think you were with Yasuyuki.
Yeah, I wasn't happy about it. My friend told me they were interested in one of his friends, so I ended up hanging out with them.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yasuyuki hasn't changed one bit since elementary. He's been asking me out a lot recently, but it's really annoying.
You mean asking you out on a date?
What, are you curious?
No, not really.
Oh, really? Fine, I'll let you off with that. But don't worry, I'm not interested in him.
And that was that. I was a bit relieved to hear that they hadn't gotten close, but I'm still worried nonetheless. Midori's really strong-headed, but ever since entering middle school, she's suddenly become more girlish. I'd heard rumors that she had gotten popular because of how cute she was. I don't think Yasuyuki would become interested in her as well. She's an important childhood friend, so I can't let her go out with a vicious guy like that even if the world fell apart. I felt that I had to do anything to prevent it. But Midori didn't start going out with anybody, and our relationship stayed the same too. Time passed and we entered our second year of middle school. This guy's been weak ever since elementary school. He can't disobey me. It's really boring. Unfortunately, I was put in the same class as Yasuyuki. Every day was the same with him picking on me. Ever since starting boxing, I'd gained more confidence and was able to make friends. But it was only a tiny difference. Because of my time in elementary, I was still conscious of Yasuyuki. What was the point of doing boxing if I was still scared of him? I felt frustrated with myself every single day. But one day, I had a class rep meeting after school, and when I went back to the classroom to get something… Oh, come on, just once!
No, I don't want to.
It's not a big deal, we're only going to the game arcade.
I'm not interested in games. You're really annoying.
Yasuyuki was asking Midori out. It would be fine if he was just asking her out on a date, but several of Yasuyuki's friends were with him. And they had surrounded Midori, as though to keep her from running away. It seemed like even Midori was scared. I entered the classroom and… Midori! Sorry I made you wait. I called out to her as though we had promised to meet up. We were childhood friends, so she understood what I meant to do right away.
No, it's okay. I can't wait to have dinner at your place.
So we tried to leave the classroom without making trouble, but Yasuyuki grabbed my arm as I walked away. Hey, wait! Didn't you realize I was talking to Midori? It looked like she had refused, so I thought it was over. I must have pissed him off with my remark, because Yasuyuki began to speak in an irritated tone. I heard a rumor that you started boxing. You're so weak and skinny, what's the point? He usually looked down on me, so being spoken back to like that seemed to have aggravated him. I better teach you a lesson on what happens if you try to disobey me. He said that and forcefully dragged me into a deserted classroom.
Hey, don't start a fight.
Shut up! Women should stay quiet! You guys make sure she doesn't come in! Midori tried to stop Yasuyuki, but he got his friends to prevent her from doing anything. Yasuyuki wanted to have a one-on-one fight, and for some reason, some students that were in the middle of club activities had appeared to watch. It was only a matter of time before a teacher would arrive. Come on! It's your chance to show me your best punch! Come on, punch me! He was underestimating me. There was no helping it since he still thought that he was superior to me, just as he did in elementary. But I made up my mind. I let out a light punch to Yasuyuki's face. Ah! It was a clean hit. I guess he couldn't see it coming. The audience was going crazy too. Nobody expected that I could land a punch on Yasuyuki. It was just a light punch, so there wasn't much damage, but he was shocked. Catching him by surprise must have annoyed him a lot because… You piece of… Don't get ahead of yourself! He shouted as he tried to punch at me. His body was still bigger, so it was pretty intimidating. But I could tell that it was an uppercut. I avoided his punch easily and countered with a body blow. Yasuyuki wasn't prepared and my punch stabbed his stomach. Ah! He fell down where he was and started to cry. His friends also. Yasuyuki was bleeding! What do we do? No way! Began to panic. Now that I had beaten Yasuyuki in a fight, just like that, I started to wonder just what I'd been so afraid of.
Kenichi, are you okay?
I'm alright. I wasn't the one that lost the fight. Crap! Damn it! Damn it! You better remember this! I won't forgive you! I won't forgive you for embarrassing me! I don't mind fighting anytime, if you can win against me. When he heard my words, Yasuyuki went bright red and ran away. He must have been frustrated but couldn't argue back. After that, a teacher arrived and the crowd was dispersed. We could finally go home.
Today was unbelievable. I didn't know that you had gotten that much stronger.
I didn't think I could win that easily either.
I was worried when I heard that you had started boxing, but I guess you had talent.
I wonder. He wasn't as strong as I thought he would be.
Oh, showing off?
But it's the truth.
By the way, why did you begin boxing in the first place?
That again?
Because it really was sudden.
You're the one that told me.
I did?
When we were in elementary, there was a Japanese man who became world champion, remember? You said that you liked those kinds of guys.
Huh? You remembered that?
Yeah, and you told me that guys would one day have stronger bodies than girls would. And told me that I had to get stronger, right? I thought that was the only way was to start boxing. Midori had become a lot cuter, but she was an important childhood friend. I don't think she ever considered me as boyfriend material, but after this incident, we became much closer. Even though we hadn't said anything, we started to go home together every day, and we were messaging each other every night. Then in our third year, just before graduation, I think we'll become much busier from now on with our exams, but I'd like you. If I pass my entrance exams, will you go out with me?
What are you talking about? Even if you don't pass, we can start going out from today.
But if we start going out, I feel like I won't be able to focus on studying.
I know that you're serious, so it's okay. Let's study together and get into high school we're aiming for. If we're together, we can work harder, right?
Yeah, thanks, Midori. So we started dating in our third year of middle school. Our parents were good friends too, so they were all really happy. They were even saying if they get married, we'll all be family, and getting excited. We're still in middle school, so we can't think that far ahead.
Huh? But I started dating you with that in mind.
What?
I'm looking forward to it, honey.
Like this, we're enjoying every day, completely in love. Even at school, everyone knew that we were serious, so nobody teased us. Or rather, because of that incident, my strength became common knowledge, so nobody dared to tease me. As for Yasuyuki, who had been so obnoxious, he'd become the laughingstock of the year group for being knocked out so easily. His friends no longer hung out with him, so he spent his days alone. He had a lot of pride and looked like he couldn't bear it. so ended up taking days off of school, and ultimately not coming at all. His mother came to my house one day.
This is all your fault. You embarrassed Yasuki in public. I'll sue you.
And made a fuss outside her house once, but... Our son was bullied by your son for a long time. We've been thinking about telling the school for a long time, but Kenichi stopped us, saying that he didn't want to make a big deal out of it. Our kids had a problem between them, and they solved it themselves. On top of that, Yasuyuki is the one that decided to stop going to school, right? Then you should deal with him by yourself. If you make more of a fuss, I'll call the police. My father is a gentleman, but he must have been really angry with Yasuyuki all this time. He spoke strongly and drove Yasuyuki's mother away. In comparison to everything you've suffered, this one incident was nothing. To think that he would stop coming to school after just the one punch just shows how weak he is mentally. My dad was laughing, but I think he was right. After that, we were able to graduate without any problem, and we got into the high schools we were aiming for. Midori was saying that she wanted to become a food tech teacher in the future, and progressed to a girls' school that had food technology as an option. I went to a boys' school that had a sports course to learn sports science. Through boxing, I learned how fun it was to move my body, and had started to dream of becoming a sports trainer or a PE teacher.
Imagine if we became teachers in the same school.
But I wonder if a husband and wife can work in the same school.
Oh, I thought that you weren't thinking that far.
Yeah, but you...
I'm looking forward to the future.
We don't know what will happen yet. But I want to work hard and aim for our dreams together.